Hello and welcome back to another episode of KSP. So in the last episode I learned a couple things. First of all, apparently I have recyclers disabled in the USI life support configuration, so I will just enable them. I don't know why it was disabled. That's why the recycler didn't do anything. You'll also notice I have relatively low settings for supply consumption. That's still the old settings from version 0.2 of this mod, which I just got used to, and well, carrying more supplies would also be an option. I'll also upgrade or increase the difficulty on the supply effect on veterans. I noticed that Valentina apparently did not consume any supplies, so let's see whether that changes anything. So that's that, and I also learned a little bit more about the construction docking ports, which we had problems with in the last episodes. Apparently reading the manual actually helps, and there is this manual on the Wikipedia page on GitHub for the USI mods, which explains in detail what the how the angle snap actually works, and it also confirms that the USI docking ports will not normally dock with the regular docking ports, so I decided to change that and via a small module manager patch convert their docking nodes settings to use the vanilla docking node sizes and not the construction special docking node format. I confirmed in a test game that this fixes the issues, and also confirmed that the angle snap is actually working. So that's all sorted now and should be good. And so let's see. And I also checked a couple more missions and accepted, I believe, 2 new rescue missions. One is from Kerbin orbit and one is from surface of Minmus, actually. Okay. Let's see whether any others show up. Probably not yet. We will wait a little. And I also accepted some Minmus satellite missions. These were just available, and I figure at 50,000 plus each, they will. I should be able to do them with one mission, and so 150k for one satellite should be okay, hopefully. And I think I also accepted this additional flyby contract. So, anything else? No new other missions. And let's see. I did some cost-cutting measures on the Moon Tourist launcher, replacing the tanks of the first liquid stage, the 2 tanks with 1. It will now take a while to build the first ones. They usually build in less than a day, but since that's a new tank, it's actually the vanilla long 1.25 meter tank. The first ones will take a little longer, but that shouldn't be a problem since we still got a couple ready. And I also, I basically built a copy of the original Minmus scan set, just a little more fuel and some other minor changes. And we will be using that for the mission for the Minmus satellites. So let's start. We still have, what is it, a day and 2 hours to wait for the station contract to complete. So let's just forward to the rollout here with the Moon tourists. Let me check. Tourists from Moon are Phoebe and Kabel. So let's go. Oh, and who is the pilot for them? Anybody who doesn't. XP has orbit around Moon. Asteroid doesn't have orbit around Moon, that's interesting. Okay, well then, Asteroid, orbit around Moon. Although, well, it's a flyby mission, but we'll see whether we should have enough Delta V, right? So, clear all. Asteroid, Baby, and Kabel. Go. That's still the old version of the vessel. The new one is roughly 10% cheaper. Not much, but I figured it would make sense for a space program to upgrade the vessel if it's mainly replacing these two tanks with a standard one. And I think I also removed these control fins because they're not necessary. Okay, no inclination. Let's go to 80, engage, and 4. Okay, up to stage 2. Rendezvous info. Okay, let's go. I checked whether reducing the number of solid boosters from T3 to 2 would make a difference. If I lengthen them and increase their power appropriately, but that was only like 50 credits or something, or maybe 100 credits difference. That wasn't worth it. I quite like this triangular layout. Ascent profile looks good, since we have quite adequate TWR. Let's go. Let's get rid of the fairings. And where's our moon? Is there? We are here, so definitely not a direct injection into moon orbit. Not sure how much of that we will need. Okay, excellent. Just to make sure that the stage is actually deorbited. What's the condition on the contract? Flyby of the moon below 100 kilometers. Okay. So moon, and let's see. This by a few. Okay, 51 kilometers, that's fine. Interesting. Although this would, that's not within Kerbin's SOI anymore. Well, whatever. That's it, 12 minutes, so let's go. Plenty of delta V, so we can actually do the orbit thingy for Lafrod, and so Lafrod should then have 3 stars afterwards. Okay, let's check. Perfect burn actually. So what we will do is add a maneuver, then circularize there. Create node, periapsis place, yes. And then we will return from moon, create another node. This. And this other node we will fix a little. That's about here. Yep, like this. Now our plan is for 500 meters. This is actually still within this stage, so don't even need to touch the actual spacecraft reserve. So go back to the space. Oh, I don't need this. Back to the space center. Okay, what's next? We could send up a rescue craft for the one stranded Kerbal in Kerbin orbit. I'll try to wait whether there's maybe another one. Here you land on Minmus with 2 tourists for 250 grand. Why not? But it looks like I will be launching a couple more tourists here. The baker has 1 hour something. That's... well, doesn't matter, we will roll out to baker. Which means I actually need to produce more of these. And possibly sooner. So 1 rollout there, couple tourists, yes. For the lucky Minmus landing tourists. Lord Buzz and Keros, okay, and who will be the pilot? I need a pilot who hasn't landed on Minmus. Not you. Agavin, well. Yep, definitely Agavin. Okay, well then. Not complete. Conditioning complete. Conditioning. Launch. Clear all. Agavin and most tourists, Lord Buzz and Eros. It's still more than 3 hours, so we definitely have a launch window to Minmus. Hmm, 3 hours, we just missed it. You know what, screw it. Start minus gauge. Since it was just 3 minutes past 3 hours, I guess we can just launch now into negative, and that's okay. Well, actually, I need to launch into positive or negative. I need to launch into positive. Relative inclination is going down, so right choice. Also need to arm this. Prepare the home and transfer. Relative inclination will be pretty bad, but since it's Minmus, it shouldn't be a big issue, and also we don't need to go into an equatorial orbit on Minmus, we just need to meet Minmus. So I believe it will be okay. If not, we'll do a tiny mid-course correction. That's also acceptable. Bearings. Yeah, 0.63 is really not nice, but again, it's only Minmus, it's not some interplanetary target or something. And again, just missed it, I suppose. So let's see. If we... Nope. Nope. Okay, none of these will work. So that's okay. We will just do a mid-course correction. So this maneuver, 24 minutes. Let's rename this craft. Minmus tourist landing, accept. Code, how to work. Okay. And now let's say somewhere around here at maneuver. Down a little. This to 23 kilometers, that's perfect. And that will be our next maneuver for this craft. Center. And the reason I'm taking all of these tourist missions is of course so we can afford the upgrade for the R&D center, which is almost 3.5 million, so that's quite a lot. And I also do want to buy another launch pad, simply because the big one has a really long reconditioning time over a day. This one has over an hour, which is okay, but sometimes it's nice to have some standby and rapid launch capability. So, and a lot of craft are actually probably less than the 18 tons. I will have to check. Actually, we can check right now. So anything less than 80 tons should be able to launch from a really small pad. That's the... no, that's not the new Moon Tourist. That's the modified Moon Tourist, as you can see. Actually, it's only 1,000 credits, but basic change is I removed the tool. The cockpit still had a wrench, well, screwdriver. I removed that and I changed this tank. And this one is 36 tons, so it has to launch from the slightly upgraded, let's see, maybe resupply craft. Can it launch from a small one? Maybe with some changes this one could actually launch from a not upgraded pad. Otherwise I'll just upgrade it to second level as well. That's still better than having to use the big one. Yeah, I don't think anything here. Let's see, the satellite launch. This also has a solid booster, but this could certainly launch from the small pad at just 8 tons. So small satellite launches like this, definitely candidates for a really small pad. Though these days I don't get many of them. But all our other rockets, except for the really heavy ones, fit the medium pad, so that's nice to have. Okay. Now let's see. We have these maneuvers to do, and in here, no, nothing. Oh, from Minmus. It's a lot, quite a bit of money, but let's see, what could this be? I don't know, what's a 0.3 ton, 1 meter long? I don't know, possibly one of the round capsules, I don't know. 0.3 tons, yeah, it's probably, no. 0.3 tons is actually a really limiting factor on this, so it's relatively easy to tell, probably. Let's see. So this one not, but it could be 30. One of these orbital modules, 0.3 tons. These are 0.4, so yeah, it has to be one of these. Also fits the measurements, 1 meter here. But getting these back difficult part is actually attaching them on Minmus and getting them off the surface. I mean, could always do some tricks with gyroscopes, but nah, let's not do that. So it definitely calls for a asteroid grabber design, and then things get complicated. Not that we couldn't do that, but I really don't care. It's not enough money. Okay. Probably nothing much happening until then, so we just skipped 3 hours. Has anything finished here? No. So orbit insertion for this mission. As the moon flyby tours, but we will give them an orbit anyway because of Lafort, and Lafort also then needs to exit and do a quick EVA. EVA done. Let's double check the maneuver. Perhaps it's 32 kilometers. Yes, I will skip this one. Well, we will do that later. Let's do the maneuver first. And we will then move on to transfer the laboratory to Minmus. Yeah, I know. This launch Kerbin Space Station. Yeah, that's the contract completion. Okay, let's check. 32 kilometers, excellent. We have a maneuver there deleted. That will be our re-entry maneuver. Close and by center. Don't need that alarm, and now comes the fun part. Trying to wrangle free this laboratory. Okay, so the lab craft up there. I'll actually leave this docking port now here and attach it to the side. Valentina can do that while she's still here. But first we will bring Linga and Co to Minmus. So let's undock here, decouple node. Okay. And let's double check the supplies here. Oh dear. Yes, that's alright. Okay. Now you need to transfer to Minmus as well. Right. And let's get a little bit into a higher orbit. I could have transferred some fuel here, but we've got enough. Just so we get free of the station. Okay. Now home and transfer, let's see what happens. We actually get an encounter without changing the plane because Minmus will be relatively close to the ecliptic. That's nice. Well, focus view. Yes. Can we do something with this node? No. Yes, okay. Can we do something here? We... Huh. Oh. Okay, we will take this one and then do a mid-course correction here as well, because it's a lot easier to... Okay, I can actually do it like this. Well then, burning a little later. We get a better encounter. Because Minmus will be lower in the plane. Okay, then we might be able to do without a mid-course correction, which would be nice. That's nearly perfect. Okay. We want to go into the plane of this station core. Okay. So, and let's say, what if we add another 0.1 there? That's too far. Okay, let's see what happens. This is in 21 minutes. And I definitely want to execute this before we do anything else, so definitely also need to enable RCS for this to keep it stable, because it's not quite aligned, so it will be a little... There should be a setting in utilities. Smooth throttle. Okay. And warp. Since we went to a higher orbit than this station, we will not re-encounter it. We'll just fall behind now. And we need to arm. For some reason I can't arm. So we'll auto stage. belt number 1. Will probably be a little rough during the auto staging, but nothing we can do except transferring fuel, and that's not really what I want to do. Also, explosion not intended, but okay. And at the end it will be smooth anyway. Let's make sure that this does definitely not overburn. In fact, we need to correct a little. That was a little low. The station is in a 28. Okay, that's excellent. Okay, now then, this one needs a no correction burn. We will go straight here and then try to circularize, except periapsis. Except I want to fix the maneuver here, so just to capture and actually get into the same plane as the station. The rest is less important. Okay, do this a little earlier, please. Fix this entire inclination. Well, that's good enough. And actually, we need to brake a little more, not that much. And we may even be able to set up an encounter like this. Yeah, that's good enough. Okay. This should show up somewhere here. Yes. In 11 days. Well, that's a slow transfer to Minmus. Why? Oh, because it's happening back behind the apoapsis. Okay, well, anyway. Supplies should be good for 11 days, something. Yeah, they have 16 days. They will be at the station long before that. So, transfer achieved. And let's see, what's the time? The last thing to do. In the science lander, why? Alright, this one stays. Minmus tourist landing, mid course correction, this remains, this we can delete. And the last thing to do for today might be to actually intercept the asteroid. So let's try to go back there. Let's see whether it still recognizes whether, well, let's see where we end. Whether we end at the laboratory or at the asteroid craft. Yeah, I didn't want to go there. need to use the tracking station to go to the other craft. This, and remove this again. Not global support. One I want. Okay, so let's check. This is full, this is full, this is full. Pretty much everything except for the big tank, and these ones should be full, right? 2 empty and the big one still has a little. Excellent. 2 empty, that's the procedural ones, and the big one partially filled. So anything we... oh yes, Valentina. Let's get out. Does she have the... inventory? Not this inventory. I want Valentina's inventory. She has a screwdriver. Okay. So then, Valentina, EVA. We've got to repair a couple things and actually retract these panels. I really don't need them. Because I don't want to break them. Yeah, let's go up a little this way. Let's see. Why are you so heavy? You aren't. Okay, now where do I want this port? Probably somewhere up here. Too heavy. Huh? Root part. Oh dear. Okay. Well then. I need to decouple the root part, apparently. Undock. And hopefully Valentina will be quick enough to grab it. Oh, she can undock this. Well then. Grab this, yes, and attach it there. Just temporarily. Okay, and now let's move a little here. Right about here should be fine. Oh, that's close enough to the center, I guess. Okay, yep. So, now have an additional, that's pretty good. Additional docking port here. Add this fuel depot. Grab port. And since this is all full, we can now undock here and leave the station in Kerbin orbit, the fuel tank. Then accessible, yada yada. Again. Check these, please. Okay. Do I want to, just considering whether I really want to drag all of the construction ports with me or whether, but I think Yeah, I think I will keep them with me, so after undocking, oh. Okay, let's open this inventory. Then let's look here. Then grab this one and actually grab it properly and move it there. And then you can board. Okay. Now let's check this, that it's a fuel depot. I can interact with it. Yes, rename vessel, Kerbin tank, station, accept. Well, maybe not station. Let's make it a probe, because otherwise some scripts will consider it a station, and that's not what I want. It still has 230 meters and RCS delta V, so that's excellent. Now Valentina can let's see, align her prograde. Time being, leave these panels closed and also move her a little outward. Yes, so she gets away from the station. Okay. Now we can start plotting a maneuver to the asteroid, which one is the one which has the first encounter? I think it's this one, 163 days, yes. Okay. Okay. Now then, let's see whether MacJab is able to intercept that target in 82 days from here. No. Yeah. Let's see what happens. Target must be in the same sphere of influence, so MacJab unable to do that. Not a problem. Basically all we want is a escape from here with roughly 1100 plus or minus. Okay, like this, and do we need to, yeah, we may need to burn a little up. Why is our relative speed there? 2000. That's too much of an intercept. I really don't want that fast an intercept. Let's see, 900. Then we don't exit, okay. 100 here. Still not enough, okay. And that's in 78 days, so it's actually pretty good. But let's see, can we move this a little further out? What if I get rid of that? "93 days with 1100. Okay. Any delta V we save there is actually really important. degrees. Yeah, that looks fine, right? Should still have enough time to fix the orbit from there. So let's see, can we get this back to... Wow, excellent. That's in 144 days, that's maybe a little late. But it's really nice on our Delta V budget. So that's now 20 days before. Okay. Well, on 917. Why not? Why not? Although I'm not very comfortable with having so little time here. Definitely want to be there 20 days earlier. So by day 122, let's say. Okay, that's unfortunately 200 meters extra. Okay, let's say 35 days. Oh, okay, like this. We'll just execute this and be done with it. Execute next node. And go. Passing by the fuel depot again. And now that we are actually clear of the station, I feel more comfortable deploying the solar panels. Okay, let's see. Encounter at 83, that's fine. After we exit sphere of influence, I will plot a correction node out there. There's our exit in 12 days something, okay. Okay, add the maneuver there, and then that will be the reminder to fix and counter those. Well, let's see. Valentina is actually using the supplies, correct? And if we start life support, these will extend. Perfect. And this one, that's habitat, not... I don't want habitat, I just want this. Okay. So now Valentina is actually also using supplies, that's good. But with that, I would say we achieved quite a lot in this episode. And I would like to thank you for watching. Let me know if you have any comments, either in the comments below or in one of the discords. I will link the wiki page I mentioned at the start of the episode in the description. And again, thank you for watching. Bye bye.